music, and does hip hop have spiritual roots?
Yeah, hip hop does have it's out of gospel, but gospel is also a spiritual root in the African American sense, because we were given Christianity, but we brought the African tradition of spirituality and drum and music and incorporated it into the Christianity. It translated from Africa, spoken word over drums, and then it became gospel, which is gospel means the word, and so what happened was, always say it's our ancestors speaking through us, you know what I'm saying, and just translating through rhythm, and because I feel like we're connected with the universe through rhythm. It's rhythm. The universe moves in timing.
Right, and that was an African tradition and understanding, especially with the drum. And timing was the universe. It was your heartbeat, and we see that come right back into hip hop like hundreds of years later. Yeah. The tradition of the griots, where they basically used the spoken word to pass down information, knowledge, understanding.
Gather round, boys. I don't want you to miss none of this here story, cause it goes like this.
Once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived life slow.
Same thing that happened in hip hop, and especially at the time that hip hop was created. We talk in 1970s New York. Something deeper was needed. Yeah. It was, let's have fun, but it was something deeper than that. That community needed to speak. It needed to be heard, and this is how it developed. So.
And then the drum too, also translating from the highest form of music, like jazz, which is classical also. What the hip hop kind of sort of did was take the background of jazz, which was the drummer, and put them in the forefront, and take the scatting of the jazz singer, the scat, and put words to the scat. And the scat was sort of like a drummer. So when people heard hip hop in the 80s, I don't think they understood that it was actually an inverted form of jazz. And the musicality became background, and the staccato of the drum and the scat combined with lyrics on top of it. Like for a drummer to go, and for Kendrick Lamar to, that's vocal drumming. You know what I mean? It's vocal drumming with words attached, and that's all from the drum, and that's all from Africa.
So, what is, if the message of hip hop started out being, lifting yourself up from dire circumstances and the experience of injustice, how has this message been transformed for the current version of hip hop? Are there different versions of hip hop?
Yeah, for sure. Now there are. Like when hip hop started, it was something they had many different levels. It was something to uplift. It was something to have fun with. And now, because you've had those patterns, those times and those periods, we have a period to explore, and that's what hip hop is doing now. It's exploring itself. And we have these debates about this music versus that music, this time versus that time. All I can say is that, think of it as rock, where you had this line of rock that eventually diverged into these different, subgenres. And we have the same thing going on with hip hop right now. We have these like crazy purists in our culture that say that's not hip hop. And I have to fight them at every turn.
Same as jazz purists.
Right, jazz purists, rock purists, anything. People hated, like traditional rock people hated punk rock.
They hated punk
rock. It's the same thing.
Because traditional punk rock came from the same place traditional hip hop came from. It came from the purity of the arts, and so traditional rock came from, it was black music first, so it came from gospel. Rock music came from gospel, and you had to know how to sing and really know how to play your instruments. So what punk rock kids did is they were like, fuck that, and we're just gonna learn 3 chords and scream. So that's like the trap music, and they don't care about that. It's about the attitude. It's about, so we've seen it before, we felt it before, and it's a good thing because it needs freedom. Hip hop needs to branch out and become different things, the same as rock or jazz. Jazz became bebop and swing and the big band. It's all different forms of jazz. So why not hip hop? It's room for everything. It's been proven before. Why is everybody arguing? You know what I mean? It's room for everybody.
These different versions of hip hop, can they all trace their roots to classic hip hop?
Yeah, for sure. Everything comes from
I
New
like
York.
that classic hip hop
Yeah.
instead of old school.
Everything comes from New York, 1970s, you know, everything goes from there and springs forward, you know, so nothing can dispute that.
It's power to the artist, death to the machine, culture over vultures. This is Beat Society Podcast.